Hey everyone, this is Peter from Roland. I am here talking about the MC-707 groovebox, which is an 8-channel beat-making, production, live performer, all-in-one, or external MIDI controller wonder device. It's really kind of awesome what you can do with it. It has tone tracks, drum sounds, samples. You can live sample things. You can use it as an 8-track kind of looper device, or you can use it to completely make your own beats from scratch, and it sounds really fantastic. You can have assignable outputs, you have main outputs, there is stereo effect send and returns if you want to hook up an effects pedal of some sort. There's also analog input that you can use to route audio into it, and there's also 2 MIDI outputs, which is really good if I want to start sequencing a bunch of external pieces of gear. This is really good with that, and it's all polyphonic too, so it can kind of combine both the built-in sounds and any other piece of synthesizer that you might have in your studio. There's a little bit of just kind of basic processing that you can do to the sound going in, but once it's recorded as a looper track onto the MC-707, you can really kind of, it's really malleable at that point. You can time stretch it, pitch stretch the sound up and down. You can also apply any one of the, I think it ships with 90 creative types of effects on the MC-707. So once it's sampled, you can pretty much do whatever you want to it. You have the 8 tracks here. They all have volume faders attached to each individual sound. There's also these knobs that'll help you perform. Now, these knobs are actually completely reassignable to do anything. So these knobs on top, they say filter, but they don't have to be filter. I could reassign them to be basically very specific to the sound that I have on that track. So that's a really kind of nice performance mechanic to have. And then everything is fully automatable on the step sequencer. So on the bottom half, you have the note pads that could be things like notes, drum pads. They could serve as the clips to help me kind of launch the individual sections that I have in my track. Things like mutes that help you mute it in different ways, scatter, chord memory. I mean, these are pretty much the way that you perform stuff. And then they have a step sequencer at the top, which is really handy for programming stuff in. So whether you're playing stuff, whether you're more used to live recording or step sequencing, it really does each one quite well. If I want to go to, say, a drum pad, and I'll just make a basic drum beat right now, I can tell it how many measures I want to have it. I could go all the way up to 8, but for this I'll just maybe make it 1. So to make a basic drum beat, it's really easy. You could select a track that has some drums on it. You could pick the drum sound that you want, say that kick drum, and I could get started by just putting it on the step sequencer, some notes. Maybe hit the hi-hat. And then if I want to real-time record something in, I could hit the record button. Really easy. It will record fully on quantized. If I want to do input quantized, I can also toggle this back and forth. I can also look at each individual note's properties as well, nudge it, add a mute percentage to drum hits to make it a little bit less repetitive. So if I want to kind of start to tweak that a little bit, I can do that really easily. I can adjust things like sub-step as well. And then I can also duplicate that measure, or I can change the playback mode. Maybe I want to have it play in reverse for some reason, if I'm crazy. Now it'll be playing back in reverse, or maybe randomize it. So it's very malleable, and this is just with drums too. So I can have different types of tracks playing in different directions with the melody to get some variations of some themes that I come up with, or it's just a really kind of intuitive and real-time type of way to sequence stuff. It has our latest sound engine that's really quite comprehensive. I'll take this tone track right here. You can see that I have the performance knobs attached to some aspects of the sound, but if I want to edit things, I can use the screen and look at this diagram right here. So this is actually really where the magic happens when it comes to programming stuff. I can see that there are 4 waveforms per sound that I could use. I can go to the filter section, tell it to do different models of filter. They've kind of designed these really cool different filter modes that you can put the filter to, in terms of maybe it sounds like a Jupiter, maybe it sounds like other pieces of vintage gear that really sound nice. And then there's also things like the VCA. I can have a dedicated effect per sound on here, and also a dedicated EQ as well. Now for advanced programmers though, I can at any point go in even deeper and see every aspect of each of these sounds as well. So anybody who's a more kind of wants to take a sound design approach, I can have access to a very kind of low level way to program the sound. And this will uncover features such as, like, say, random panning per waveform or random tuning or all sorts of hidden stuff. So it really kind of pays to be curious when you're using the MC-707 because it really is a deep machine that has a really excellent way to kind of structure the complexity where you don't have to get into it if you don't want to. If you want to use the surface level stuff, it's really easy to make those basic tweaks. But if you're ever kind of want something more out of it, it's there for you. The effects engine has I think it has about 90 like creative style effects, and then there's also effects on the master channel as well. So you have like a master multiband compressor, an EQ to put on the output. The way that it's structured is also running through the scatter engine, which is an awesome way to kind of chop up audio, and it can be deeply customized as well. So users now for the first time have the ability to actually make these interesting chopping effects from scratch. They can make it super subtle or really drastic. It's really, really flexible that way. So it is $9.99 and they are shipping now.